The gavel cracked like a gunshot, but it was my voice that shattered the room. Your Honor, I'm gay. And the man who raised me beat the hell out of me the night he found out. Because of Roman. Gasps rippled through the courtroom like wind through dry cornfields. And for a split second, even the bailiff's hand froze on his radio. I locked eyes with the judge, her face a mask of weathered authority cracking just enough to let the humanity seep through. And in that silence, I knew I'd just burned every bridge back to the boy I used to be. It started in the sticky summer of 2018, back when I was 18 and the world still felt like it could be kind if you squinted hard enough. Our town, Elmwood, Ohio, population 4,200, give or take a tractor, sat smack in the middle of flat farmland that stretched to infinity under skies so blue they hurt your eyes. Folks here lived by the rhythms of harvest and church suppers, where football Fridays were religion and anything that didn't fit the script got whispered about over coffee at the diner. I was Adrielle Hayes, the quiet kid with the thrift store jeans and a sketchbook full of charcoal drawings nobody ever saw. My dad, Harlan, ran the local feed store, a bear of a man with calloused hands and a temper that flared like summer storms. Mom had passed when I was 10, cancer, quick and cruel, so it was just us, holding down a 2-bedroom rancher on the edge of town, pretending we were fine. That's where Roman came in like a plot twist in one of those indie films I'd sneak watch on my laptop late at night. He rolled into Elmwood's sophomore year, transfer from Cleveland, all sharp jawline and easy swagger, with skin the color of polished walnut and eyes that crinkled when he laughed. Like he was in on some cosmic joke the rest of us missed. His family had money troubles. His dad bailed after the recession, leaving his mom to scrape by as a nurse. Roman crashed at his uncle's place, a rundown trailer on the outskirts, and ended up in my art class because the counselor said it might channel his energy. Energy. That's one word for it. He was a live wire, doodling graffiti tags on his notebooks and quoting Tupac like scripture. We bonded over stolen moments in the supply closet, pretending to hunt for paints while trading stories. I'd tell him about sketching the old covered bridge at dusk, how the light turned the river to gold. He'd counter with tales of city blocks buzzing with life, nights sneaking into abandoned warehouses to tag murals that screamed rebellion. You draw what's inside you, Adrielle, he'd say, his voice low and gravelly, like he could see right through my faded flannel. Don't hide it. By homecoming, we were inseparable. Best friends. The kind who shared earbuds on the bus, shoulders brushing in the bleachers. But it was more. God, it was so much more. The first time I kissed him, it was under that same covered bridge, fireflies winking like they approved. We ditched the dance, sneakers crunching gravel as we raced out there on bikes, hearts pounding from the thrill of escape. The air smelled of damp moss and creek water, and when our lips met, tentative then desperate, it was like the world exhaled. His hands in my hair, my fingers tracing the line of his collarbone. We didn't say a word, but in that kiss, I found a language I'd been searching for my whole life. This is us, he whispered after, forehead pressed to mine. No going back. We promised each other the stars, college in Columbus, art school for me, graphic design for him. A life where we didn't have to whisper or hide. But Elmwood had other plans. Small towns chew up secrets like they do stray dogs. Whispers started junior year. Hayes and that city boy, always together. Dad noticed, his eyes narrowing over dinner, fork stabbing mashed potatoes like they owed him money. You spending too much time with that troublemaker, son? Folks talk. I'd mumble excuses, heart hammering, and bolt to my room, where I'd text Roman under the covers. Miss you already. When can we run? He'd reply with a heart emoji and a voice note, his laugh wrapping around me like a blanket. Soon, baby. We're unbreakable. We almost were. That spring, we drove his beat-up Chevy to the state line, just over into Indiana, where the corn gave way to woods. We hiked to a clearing, spread a blanket, and lay there watching clouds morph into shapes only we could name. A dragon for our fears, a ship for our escape. He traced lazy circles on my palm, talking dreams. We'll get a loft downtown, you painting murals on brick walls, me designing album covers for bands nobody's heard of yet. I believed him. In his arms, with the sun filtering through leaves like stained glass, I believed we could rewrite the script. Then came the betrayal, sharp as a switchblade. Senior year, Roman's mom got a promotion, back to Cleveland, stability at last. He was thrilled at first, pulling me into hugs that lingered too long in the school parking lot. But one night, after a bonfire party where we'd stolen kisses behind the hay bales, he showed up at my door, face ashen, rain plastering his hoodie to his chest. Adriel, we can't. The words hung there, heavier than the storm clouds rolling in. His uncle had caught wind, some busybody's tip, and threatened to kick him out if he didn't straighten up. Worse, Roman's mom, fresh off church camp, had cornered him. You're throwing away your future for sin, Roman. Think of your sister. He broke. Right there on my porch, sobbing into my shoulder before pulling away like I'd burned him. It's not forever. Just until we're gone. Please. I nodded, throat closing like a fist, but inside, something fractured. For weeks, he ghosted, texts unread, hallways navigated like minefields. I poured it into my sketches. Fractured faces, bridges half collapsed. Dad sensed the shift, his silences turning thunderous. One Friday, he rifled through my room while I was at practice. Found a photo we'd printed, Roman and me at the county fair, arms slung casual but eyes screaming truth. He waited till I got home, photo clutched in his meaty fist, veins bulging like rivers on a map. You disgusting little... The first punch landed on my jaw, a crack that echoed off the linoleum. I tasted blood, stars bursting behind my eyelids. This what you've been hiding? Parading around with that boy like some freak show? He didn't stop, fists raining down, ribs cracking under boots, words sharper than any blow. I didn't raise no queer. You're no son of mine. I curled fetal on the kitchen floor, whispering Roman like a prayer, until neighbors heard the commotion and called the cops. They hauled Dad away in cuffs, his bellows fading into sirens. Social services swooped in, emergency foster placement with Aunt Clara in Dayton, court date set for custody and assault charges. Roman, he showed up at the hospital, eyes hollow, begging forgiveness through the curtain. I should have fought harder. I love you, Adriel. God, I love you. We clung to each other in that sterile room, monitors beeping our fragile rhythm, but the damage was done. Trust, once ironclad, now rusted through. You chose them, I whispered, even as I held on. He swore it was temporary, a bridge we'd cross together. Lies taste like ash. The trial dragged into fall, leaves turning the Ohio hills to fire outside the courthouse windows. Dad's lawyer spun it as a family misunderstanding, painting me as rebellious, unstable. Roman was subpoenaed as a character witness, our secret teetering on the edge of exposure. Aunt Clara, chain smoking in the hall, squeezed my hand. Tell the truth, kid. It's the only way out. But truth in Elmwood? It was a loaded gun. The day came cold and gray, November 15th. The air thick with the scent of wet wool and old wood. The courtroom hummed. Reporters from the Dayton Daily, neighbors craning necks, Dad stone-faced beside his attorney. Roman sat in the back, incognito in a hoodie, our eyes meeting like magnets before I took the stand. Swore on the Bible I didn't believe in anymore. The questions came soft at first, school records, home life. Then the pivot. Mr. Hayes, described the incident. My mouth went dry, pulse thundering in my ears. This was it, the fork in the road. Lie and Dad walks. Speak, and the town burns us both. I glanced at Roman. He nodded, infinitesimal, a lifeline. Your Honor. I started, voice cracking like thin ice. It wasn't just a fight. It was because of who I am. The room stilled, breaths held collective. I'm gay, and the man who raised me beat the hell out of me the night he found out, because of Roman. Chaos erupted, murmurs swelling to a roar, the judge's gavel pounding like my heartbeat. Dad lunged forward, roaring obscenities until deputies pinned him. Roman bolted upright, face draining of color. But it was the judge, Honorable Evelyn Torres, a no-nonsense veteran with 20 years on the bench, who stopped me cold. She leaned forward, glasses perched on her nose, and for the first time her iron facade splintered. Tears welled in her eyes, unashamed, as she removed her glasses entirely, pinching the bridge of her nose. The room fell so silent you could hear the clock tick. Son, she said, voice thick as molasses. You just showed more courage than half the men in this town ever will. A sob escaped her, a raw human sound that echoed off the paneled walls. She didn't bang the gavel. She just sat there, head bowed, shoulders shaking. The bailiff shifted uncomfortably. Spectators wiped furtive tears. Even the court reporter paused her typing, stunned. In that moment, the weight lifted, not all, but enough. Judge Torres composed herself, ruling swift. Dad remanded for trial on aggravated assault. Full custody to Aunt Clara, counseling mandated. This court stands with truth, she declared, eyes locking on mine. And Mr. Hayes? If that young man in the back is who I think he is, hold on to him. Love like that, it's rarer than justice. We spilled out into the crisp air, Roman catching me at the steps, pulling me into a hug that crushed the breath from my lungs. I'm sorry, he choked. I was scared, but no more. The town buzzed. Headlines in the Gazette, protests at the diner. But we walked hand in hand to his Chevy, unashamed. Aunt Clara drove me to Dayton that night, Roman tailing in his truck, headlights carving the dark like promises. It's 2 years later now, and the scars fade but don't vanish. We're in Columbus. Me at the Art Institute, murals blooming on warehouse walls. Him freelancing designs, our loft a chaos of canvases and takeout boxes. Dad's in prison, letters unopened. Elmwood a memory we visit in sketches. Roman and I, we're rebuilding, brick by stubborn brick. Love isn't a fairy tale. It's messy, laced with betrayal's bite, but it's ours. Human, flawed, and fierce as an Ohio winter. Last week, Judge Torres sent a card. Courage echoes. Keep drawing your truth. I pinned it above my easel. In the quiet hours when Roman's asleep beside me, I trace his profile and think, we made it through the fire, and damn if that doesn't feel like grace.